And here we are again to Salma Musa Talks. And thank you so very much for logging in one more week. It's been just a couple of weeks away that we restarted this channel. So I'm really excited today and I'm a little nervous too. You know what? Why? Because today, what I'm going to talk about is something that I have not had the courage to even write on my journal, right? So I've not been able to go deep into those memories that I'm going to talk about today. So today is a very special episode, and if you are, here with me watching this, then you have played a small role in this. But before I get started, do not forget to subscribe for the channel. This is not a super professional, with cameras or anything like that. This is just pure at home on the Zoom, record and upload, right? So, and this was the reason I stopped Salma Musa Talks 3 years back, because I wanted this to be as raw, as real, and as me as I can be, bringing out to you. So this is who it is and this is what it is. So please do subscribe, and we will be definitely touching on some very interesting conversations in the coming weeks. So today the topic is gives me the goosebumps. Yep, it's a difficult topic for me. And I think it would be a difficult topic for anybody who's going to talk about it. So today we are going to talk about recovering from the worst, right? And the worst can just multiply when I go about it. So the good thing here is that you are seeing me talk about this, right? So if it wasn't me, if it was somebody else narrating the story to you, I am sure you would have 100 questions about what happened to Salma. But here she is right in front of you. So there is a happy ending. So hang in there. And I am 100% sure that you'll have some really valuable lessons to carry for yourself from this episode with my real journey that happened, right? As real as it could get. So, as I said, today's topic is about recovery from the worst. And recovery from the worst, when I say it is purely the fact that me sitting under the shower with a blade on my wrist, that's the worst it can get. And you know what? Even worse was that the path that I had chosen for myself that night seemed so much more easier, so much more better for me than living, than even surviving, or just, looking at it from the next minute, right? So I don't know. Coming from there to here, 5 years it has taken me to sit and talk to you. And this story has not been discussed or said or spoken to in such detail ever before. Yes, I am a very people's person. The moment I meet with people, I confide, I discuss, I speak. That's me. And if some of you would have already heard a few parts of this, it's very natural, because this journey, this survival from that minute under the shower is a life changing moment for me. So every single moment after that, every single breath that I take after that, every single step, I am grateful to have not done what I had thought I would do that day. So, yes, that is what it is. And to start this whole thing, I know many of you would say, okay, we should learn to have this, what do you say, the divide between personal work and life and all these things. Even I say that these days. This me definitely says that, but that me 5 years back knew nothing of that sort. So before we go there to that moment under the shower to talk about how I stepped out of there, I have to take you a little bit more further back, right? And I'm talking about this around 2012, right? That's when the beginning of the end started. And By then, I was absolutely a consultant. I was, helping business owners. I was absolutely recognized by people who I worked with for something that I was good at. I had the ability to understand challenges and problems. I had the ability to break them down and find solutions and move on. So I was quite well recognized and appreciated consultant by then. But I was not a networker. I did not believe that I had it in me to sit and speak with people just randomly, give them gyan, talk about things. I didn't believe, but I did have it in me, and I did have a lot of it. For you to just tell you, please go on Amazon and purchase our book. There's not promotions, but I'm just telling you, when I just don't go very deep into this, you can read the complete story there. It's a book called A Thought to $1 Million. I've co authored with my partner, and that journey clearly tells you step by step of how it happened. But then this girl who was just making her living with this consultancy firm came across this amazing, brilliant idea of hand holding, nurturing, giving knowledge that mattered to entrepreneurs. And it just, I kind of bumped into that idea through a meetup group. And, it just was so overwhelming with the kind of love and with the kind of appreciation that I got from entrepreneurs when I spoke, when I said a few things, when I was very straightforward about what they should, what they shouldn't. That was absolutely taken with open arms. So hence began my journey in this amazing venture, right? And at that point of time, for me, that was like my dream come true. Because all this while, I had fought my family, I had fought my marriage, I had fought every single thing that came my way, including my children, to give them something which was beyond their imagination. I believed that my story was bigger than what it was. And I kept going after it. So when this community started building, when entrepreneurs started coming to me, when they started reaching out to me and wanting to hear me, wanting to take solutions from me, help from me, it was a world that I had never imagined. And hence began my dream, this dream that started building step by step. And I didn't know how it was building. It wasn't even something that I had planned out. We say we have to put together business plans, the feasibility study, and things. I do that now for hundreds of businesses, but that was not the case. It was pure love. My heart just would just go big with the kind of acceptance that entrepreneurs had about my suggestions. And I just kept going on. I was working with a prestigious university, and the students out there were coming with me, and there were people wanting to join me. There was so much happening around that immediately my dreams became bigger and bigger every single day. And I have no freaking clue that one day when I woke up and all I could think was that initiative, that community, that those entrepreneurs, the things that we could do as a company, as a club, and the things that I could do to these entrepreneurs. And the numbers kept multiplying. I kept traveling across the cities. There were things that being done which were it's impossible to even for you imagine. Like, just to put things in perspective, I was traveling across 3 day weekend to 4 cities. I'd be in Hyderabad in the morning, and I'd be Chennai in the evening, the next morning in Pune, you name it. And in every city, I would be meeting with around 15, 20 entrepreneurs, discussing with them, figuring their ideas, working with them. I think I would have at least made 1,000, 10,000 people, quit their jobs and start their businesses. I would just, be out there. And looking behind at that point of time, The community that was running had become a support system. We used to, in fact, entrepreneurs used to call it an ecosystem within an ecosystem. So we had brought in the, what do you say, the schools, the universities, the incubators, accelerators, literally every entity that an entrepreneur requires to get his idea started existed there. We were engaging, we were involved, we were a part of so many journeys. And in this journey, joined in many others who wanted to play a bigger role in this activity, in this initiative. And fast forward 6, 7 years, it was a company by itself. It had a lot of other stakeholders. Yes, we were also funded, investors came in, and everyone were having a gala time. But right at the core of everything, from the community building to making everyone believe that this is not what is going to remain small, and it was growing fast, was me. And things were moving so fast that somewhere in this journey, it had become very obvious that my energy, my ability to relate to people, my ability to connect with them, my ability to build a trust that will last long for a journey to come, started to build. And that is when the things went out of my control. But until then, I didn't know how contagious my energy was. I actually had no clue the impact that I was putting on people, on my entrepreneurs. They would literally call me the mother of startups, right? And I would be that. I would do anything for them. I would jump off the cliff for them. And we, at one point of time, we started looking at ourselves in such a way that we had this huge 1 lakh plus community of entrepreneurs ready to take the lead of, and hence, at this point of time, is where I stopped thinking, right? And we all do that. When everything's going much more than what you expect, sometimes your thinking power kind of just goes out of the window. Today, I realize that, but I didn't realize it that day. And when people started playing key roles in the system required a focused attention. I just have two shots. The system required focused attention, focused leadership. But right at that point of time, all that the system had was a passionate leader. And I, as a leader there, had no clue how to not be passionate and be focused. And that's another thing that I felt that today I stand alive to share it with you guys. That there is a thin line between passion and focus. Because passion can absolutely drive you nuts, crazy, and take you away completely from the focus that you might have. You might actually have the required focus, required talent, required skill sets to actually lead your company forward. But then this silly, silly little passion just comes and overrides it. And that's what had happened. And here I was at a point where everything seemed larger than life. Everything was out there. We were working with governments, and the whole world seemed to know us. I remember sitting in a Paris airport and an entrepreneur from there coming and recognizing us. I remember walking into a totally unrelated setup, people recognizing us, people recognizing me. There wasn't a time where I could go for a couple of beers and not get recognized and appreciated and hugged and loved. And that's what I was at that point of time. But back home at the setup, Where the setup needed a focused leader, there was none. There's a lot of passion, but nothing that could drive the system in a direction. And hence the journey continued. But everything, when done, in fact, overdone, has to be corrected, right? The universe comes in play. The universe has its way of telling us that you are in a fucking wrong track. Get your shit together, or else the universe does its job. And that's what happened. Because now I'm going to talk about the Coffin Corner, because that's what happened at that point of time. I was heading straight into a tornado that was completely powered by different stakeholders, different intentions, different objectives, different priorities. And there I was with just one and only one priority, and that was to make that system, that community, that company become the world's largest startup support system. But I knew not what I was getting into. And there it was. With these beautiful priorities, different priorities, we started doing everything wrong. Everything wrong. The things that we were offering our entrepreneurs were things that they didn't require. We were trying to bulldoze it onto them. The things that we were doing was not what a support system for entrepreneurs do. But the power of this community, the love that they had for me was so strong that they went along with us. At no point did they stop and say, "What the hell are you guys doing?" Right? Everything we did, they supported, they stood by us. Even the bad things for the system, they supported us. And hence, there was no stopping for its downfall, too. But what was happening through this journey was that it wasn't just the company going down, I was going down with it. From internally, my mental state of mind, my worries in regards to not being able to maintain the whole system, my inability to explain my challenges to my team, my co-founder, my stakeholders, even my end users, the entrepreneurs. The more confusing, the more stronger the system became, the more weaker I became. So no system, no company can run with a weak leader, because every passing month, with every bills that got cleared, with every hustle that I had to do, I was becoming weaker and weaker and weaker. And the more weak I became, the stronger the system became. And the moment there came this place where it was right over my head, my company, you can say literally the largest startup ecosystem, was on my shoulders, on my head, and it had no way to survive. So there began my downhill. Now it was no more my dream. The big dream had now become a baggage, a burden. Every step that I took was a step to survival, a step to fight it out, a step to make myself live. There was a point where I would not know what my morning will bring. There was a time that I'd reached when the Coffee Day founder jumped off the bridge. I remember I got a call. I was sitting in my cabin and I got a call from one of my stakeholders. And he said to me that when I read that news, Salma, I was scared that you would also do the same. So basically, the complete system knew that they were killing the founder. under the burden of all collective wrong mistakes, but still they continued. And this lady, this founder, this person was absolutely not in that place to collect herself, collect her thoughts, collect her, the line of sight and get it together. Naturally, I was in my deathbed, right? Now it was only about going forward, just living the next moment. And that's what happened. So, wow, at that point of time, one of my first biggest struggle. I didn't land in that, in that bathroom floor under the shower with a blade on my wrist, just like that. By now, if you know me, I'm not a quitter. Even then, I was not a quitter. So I didn't quit easily. I did not just one day get up and jump off the bridge. I decided to let go of a few team members. I reduced my expenditures. I decided to take the decision in my hand. I decided that I might, be against the stakeholders, be against my partner, be against anything and every system that existed, but I wanted to make it work. I let go of half the team members. I emptied the office, made sure that moved into a smaller office, reduced the expenditures to 10% of what was. But still, there were two things that I couldn't fix at that point of time. One, I couldn't fix the leader that I was. I was damaged. I was broken. I was in a place where, for me, every single thing was a panic button. Even to the point that if I could get a slight chest pain, I would think it was a heart attack. Why not? I was 100 plus. I was absolutely unhealthy. And why shouldn't I be so worried, right? I was answering hundreds, I'm not kidding you guys, hundreds of liabilities for the company. I was literally in the forefront. The stakeholders all moved away, now just expecting some magic to happen, right? As if I had this magic wand and I'm going to just bring the system alive and working. And there I was, right? I'm trying to find solutions. But then another 8 months, 9 months, those 9 months feels like a decade to me, because those 9 months for me was purely, today when I think back, right, it was just like I was walking in like a zombie. I really cannot understand. I cannot understand how I made it through. During that time, I was arrested, I was abused, I was I was harassed, and all these was done by the same stakeholders who were the team, right? As we call it, team. So if you have to remember something, your passion is not your fucking stakeholders or team or anybody's passion. So your dream, your passion is yours. You dream it, you structure it, you streamline it, you make a plan out of it and add people to implement that plan. You don't take your dream and go and be vulnerable for the people out there. Today, I can tell you that. But that day, no one was there. There wasn't a me for me. But it's okay. But at least you have a me. So hence here I am. And that's where the second hit happened. This was around 2019, where I completely pulled the shutters down, because at that point of time, for me, the only thing was that there is no tomorrow. That day, when I pulled the shutters down completely, I had no idea what I would do next. I walked out of that office with 7,000 rupees in my account, 3 crores of liabilities, at least minimum, and literally zero, zero support system. Not family, no friends, no team members, nothing, nothing. I was on the roadside opposite to my office with that 7,000. Frankly, to tell you that, I didn't even have a home because by that time, I wasn't even able to pay for my house. So it was just a matter of time where I would be thrown out from my home as well. So I went back that day and I just walked into my shower with my clothes on, with a blade that I had purchased on the way. And I sat under the shower with the blade on my wrist. And the reason for doing that is because I did not want my kids seeing me in a pool of blood. I wanted it washed away. That was such detailed planning that I had sat there. But those 2 hours that I sat there, I remember it every second. Because every second I tried putting pressure on that blade on my wrist. Every second I believed that my peace was just a deep cut away. And believe me when I say this, it felt good. That day, I could have gone off towards the light, and that would have felt better. But I didn't. I am not a quitter, right? So after 2 hours, I got up, I Googled for help, and the first counselor who came up, I called her up and I said, fix me. And that's where my journey began. From that minute, I've not looked back. Have those challenges disappeared? No, they did not. So if you believe that you decide that you wake up one day and the challenges disappear, they don't. What I want you to believe is that the day you wake up and decide that you're going to fix things, the challenges become easy to solve. You become stronger than the challenges. And I started my journey. Today, 5 years down the line, I believe that I am in a space where there's not one challenge that can bring me to that place ever again. Am I completely recovered? No. I do still have PTSDs. When I come across a founder who says, I'm so driven about my idea, I want to make this no matter what, I work 22 hours a day, I get PTSDs, yeah, I panic. I'm like, oh my God, how do I tell him that that's not what you got to do? When I come across a woman entrepreneur who says, I am ready to let go of everything, I love what I do, I will make sure that this will happen come hell or heaven, I can't even smile at her. I don't know how to tell her that, you know, I'm happy you love what you do, but that's not what defines you. What defines you is you, not the idea, not the business, not anything what you're doing in your life. So, as I said in the beginning, this is going to be a little bit more longer than the other series. This is where I come to. I come to an end of this episode with just a few things for you to take away. Do not let your professional dreams, your relationships, your team members, your trusted allies define you. You define you. Do not let your business, your startup, your so called brilliant $1 billion initiative define you. You define you. And last but not the least, when you start to define yourself, Look again. Are you defining yourself as per what you believe you are or as per what you want to become? Because at one point of time, all my life, I believed I was this IPO owner or this people's person, and this person who would go do anything in her power to please others, right? I was wrong. When I actually double clicked on defining myself, today I'm an introverted extrovert. I love being around people, but I equally love being alone. Today, for me, owning a business is about owning something stable, something right, something that's giving value to its customers, and something that I can shut shop one day and go live my dream of meeting more people and traveling places. Something that's in my control, not the other way around. Today, for me, relationships is a give and take. If you can give me something valuable, something real, something that I would fall in love with, then you will get something that you will bloody hell fall in love with from me. So that is what it is about defining yourself. Define yourself in a way that you should become, not what you want to become. Sometimes our wants are absolutely fucked up. So think again and work it out. And please remember to subscribe my channel. I made it through. The best part is I did not cry. You don't see tears on my eyes, and you definitely do not believe that I've been through all this in such a bad thing, right? If so, connect with me. I'm splashed all over the place on social media. You can ping me from LinkedIn, Facebook, definitely not Twitter, thanks to one person again. But anyway, let's not go there. Some things well done is well, best thing to do is not to speak about it, right? But still, I'm all over on the social media and on WhatsApp. Ping me. We'll talk about that how I was able to go through this journey with you, with a smile on my face, and with lessons for you. So, with that, this week's episode is for you to use and run with. Take the bits and pieces that my journey brought to you and live it real. Live it real. Live your life real. And if you still want a bit more of me, catch me the next Saturday. Love you.